Hi there, welcome back to this last video on how to use the Ti-nspire for AP Precalculus. What we're going to cover in this video is how to create a list of numbers using a spreadsheet, and the application of that for AP Precalculus is creating what's called a regression. Now in this video we're going to go over a cubic regression, but we'll cover lots of other regressions in the course. But really, once you know how to do one, if you know what type you're creating, you can do them all. So a couple of tasks that we're going to do here. We're going to create a regression using a given data set. I'll give that to you in a moment. And then number two, we're going to use this model that we create in order to predict a value that's not in the given data set. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start on our home screen. Again, you can start at new or current, or you can just hit Control Doc, and then you can add, we want a list and spreadsheet number 4. So a list looks like this. You'll see rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see columns A, B, C, D, and really all you need is 2 columns. So you do have to label your columns. So I'll label this just simple X and this column Y, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start inputting my data. So my data that I have is going to be 6, if you want to follow along with me, 6, 9, and I'm just going to hit the down arrow each time, 12, 16, 22, 28, 33, 40, 47, 51, almost there, 55, and 60. Okay, all right, got them. Okay, now we got to input our Y values. Okay, so 12 data points, 14, 28, 50, 64, 67, 57, 55, 57, 68, 74, 88, and 110. Okay, so now we have all of our data input into our calculator, and you could see a visual of this, and I'll show you a visual of what these data points look like, what's called a scatter plot here in a moment. But I want to show you the how we create what's called a regression equation. How can I fit a mathematical model to this data that can predict and kind of show you what future values will be. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click this next cell. So make sure you're in cell C1, and I'm going to click Menu, Statistics. Menu, Statistics, and we want Stat Calculations. And you'll see a whole bunch of different types of regressions that we have here. You'll see linear regression, 2 different types, quadratic regression, a cubic regression, quartic regression, exponential. If you go down, you'll get logarithmic, sinusoidal, and we'll use most of these this year. Sometimes, based upon the data, you'll have to know what type of regression you're using. In our prompt, they said use a cubic regression. So I'm going to click cubic regression here. And a couple things you do have to fill in. You have to fill in what your X list is, and this is why we label our columns. I mean, that and the fact that it won't work if you don't label your columns. So I'm going to put X as X and my Y column as Y. And you'll notice here it says save regression equation to F1. So I mean, you can go ahead and label this. I'm just going to call it, maybe I'll call it H. Okay, and I'll hit OK. And what you'll see here is the regression equation. So here's our model, ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. And you'll see all of those coefficients are defined here. So my regression equation here is 0.003. That's my a value if I'm using 3 digits. B is negative 0.321. Your c value 9.832. And the d value, which is a constant with no variable, negative 32.002. 2. So we went ahead, we created our regression equation, and what we want to do now is I want to predict a value. Going back to our prompt, they said use that model to predict when the value, what the value is when x is equal to 70. So if I plug in 70, what's that y value going to be? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open a calculator. So again, Control Dock calculator. And what I want to do is I'm just going to use a variable, and you'll see here the variable is stored. So I got to name it. I named it h. Okay, if you leave as default, it would be, I believe, f1. Another one you can use is stat regression equation. That would be the same exact equation. But I'll use h here, and I want h of 70. And there is my value, 213.794. Okay, and that's it. That's it. And I do want to go ahead and show you just kind of like visually like what we're doing. And you can do this through data and statistics. This is a scatter plot of all of our data, and I'm going to organize the variables. So here I'm going to call this x. You'll notice the data points move, and I'll call this y. Ooh, there's my phone. And you'll notice that all the data points move, and they form a cubic function. Okay, and what we did was we went ahead and analyzed a regression, and we did a cubic regression that looks like this. So we created that model, that black curve. You can see it there, and there's our function. And what we did is we predicted what's the value when x is equal to 70. What is it when it's 70? So here's 70, and you can see 70 gave us, I believe it was it 213? Yeah, 213. All right, that is how you create a regression equation given a data point set in a spreadsheet using the Ti-nspire. Like, subscribe, catch you in the next video. See ya.